So I'm legit annoyed right here. I don't understand how such an awesome looking figure got such a shitty articulation job, and then because he looks so cool, I'm seeing reviews where people are saying how awesome the figure is, not really paying attention to the figure. It's more like they're paying attention to the character. You know what I mean? They're judging the figure based on the character and not based on the figure. This is another complaint I have, and it's another reason why I do reviews the way that I do reviews. Because for a very long time, people are giving passes to shitty figures and then they're nitpicking the fuck out of way better figures. You know what I mean? I was really honest with you guys about the Funko Legacy, figures for Firefly, but they're still decent in the articulation department. You see how I have him posed. I mean, Malcolm is one of the better ones of the bunch, and I can actually make him, stand with his freaking, gun on his shoulder. His hands are ball jointed. It's pretty nice. I mean, there's some things here that are really cool. He can, get his legs apart pretty damn far, And Malcolm doesn't need to do that because it's not like he's a kung fu fighter or anything. It's River who needs that kind of, articulation, whom we still haven't received yet. No word on whether or not we will ever get a River figure. I hope we do, because she is kind of the figure everybody wanted in that group. But back to Commander Locke. He was a big deal for me because the actor that plays him is going to be Luke Cage. Locke just looks cool. He seems like a no-nonsense character. He was actually prominently featured in Halo Nightfall, the series. I know the series wasn't that great, but I'm just saying. And then you see growth because he goes from being, kind of a semi-regular soldier to becoming a full-on Spartan in his Spartan gear. So anyway, let me stop talking about all that cool shit. Let me get to the point of this, because this is going to be really short. I'm not going to review everything else. The figure is well painted. Yes, it's McFarlane. We know that that's what they do. We know the caliber of the paint jobs that we get from McFarlane. Sculpt work is freaking insane. He comes with a cool battle rifle. But, one of my big gripes with him is, and I'm going to show you this, and then we're going to move on to articulation. Here's the battle rifle in his hand. Here is the absolute farthest I can bend his elbow. Here is the closest to his body that his arm can go. And let's see, can we do it? As you know, I'm a stickler for this. Can he turn the gun so that he can hold it with the other hand? No. This is as far as it goes. So, useless battle rifle. Maybe we'll give this battle rifle to Finn, because I'm pretty sure Finn can hold it. And Finn has a trigger finger because he came with a pistol as well. So let's see how Finn does it. Can Finn do it? It looks like Finn might be able to grip this gun and make it look like a viable weapon. I don't know why this isn't like the test for all figures when they make especially soldier type characters, He holds it okay. He doesn't chamber it like a pro, but he holds it all right. So I'll give him that much. There we go. It's better than what fucking Locke was doing. So I gotta give him that much. So Finn, welcome to the Corps, son. He's probably already in the Corps. I don't know why I said it like that. Anyway, so articulation. Head. It's on a ball joint. He can look up like that, down like that. This is eye level. This is down. This is up. Left and right, no issues. He can tilt to the side. There's a really expressive ball joint, so props to them for that. Arm moves up this far, which is perfect. You really don't need it to go up any further. If you did, this shoulder pad over here gets in the way. Single bend at the elbow. You can twist at the shoulder. There is no bicep swivel. There is another twist at the elbow, but this elbow twist is kind of weird. It kind of gets in the way. So sculpting the wrist gets in the way. Like as you can see, the shape of the wrist guards, they kind of come down on either side, so twisting it is kind of weird. And this is as far as it bends. Hand, ball joint, and up and down, or if you turn it, it can go the other way, in and out. You can swivel here, or it can actually swivel at the base of the joint. I'm not that big of a fan of it, but it's becoming a more common joint on figures. This is where I really got mad. That's as far forward as his legs go. So this is standard. This is farthest forward. What the fuck, dude? It's like they didn't want to sculpt at all. Like, this pelvis piece should have been sculpted up into here to allow for the ball joint to actually move, but instead it's practically flat. It just goes right across. Outward to the side. You can already see the cut of his thigh armor. So that's as far out to the side as you get. Are you fucking kidding me? Knee bend. This is as far as you can bend the knee. There, you can twist the leg at the thigh because that's the only way you can get it to move. And then you have to twist at the knee again, and then you could possibly bend. But number one, you don't really get much bend. Number two, the kneecap is out here on the side when you do it like that. Number three, there's all this sculpted detail down here that gets in the way, so you can't really utilize this, and it just doesn't look natural, you know? So, you know, I've watched Anthony's customs, and, you know, I know he's a Halo fan. I am too, but realistically, this is a shitty figure because, I mean, with Master Chief, you had way more range because the sculpt allowed for it. They could have left the details, but shrunk them, made them smaller to allow for articulation. I am not about sacrificing articulation for sculpt. I think that's fucking stupid. It's a waste of time. I mean, this is a $14 figure and he can't do basic shit. You know what I mean? He can't chamber his gun. He can't rest the pistol in the other hand. You know, his pistol in his hand, in his other hand, and chamber his arm. It's just a whole bunch of shit he just cannot do. And it doesn't make sense considering you see them in the intro doing all this cool stuff, and if you were to get them, you'd probably want to pose the team being mobile or something. You know what I mean? This is a piece of shit for a figure. I mean, yeah, the sculpt is awesome. I mean, there's detail everywhere, but no freaking leg articulation, hardly any knees. Why even put the knee there? This is a figure that needed a double jointed knee. And you could have put it because there's nothing here. You could easily put a peg up there and a peg down here and have it bend all the way up. They didn't do that. Double jointed elbows would have been needed. Scoop out this part right here. We don't need to see his pecs in his costume so hardcore. Yeah, I know they're there in the game, but this is a figure. Figure has to do some certain things. If you wanted a statue, I would have paid for a fucking statue. They need to scoop this out so that the arms can actually come in closer and he can hold his gun with both hands. That is a must for soldier figures that carry guns. Malcolm can do it. If Malcolm can do it, and they're not even I didn't even review them because I was so disappointed in their lack of articulation. But if Malcolm could hold his gun, if freaking Finn can hold this gun, why can't Locke hold his gun? I feel like I could have, if you take his head and put it on like this body, you know, this I think it's a scout body that was painted up to look like, what was her name? Palmer, Sarah Palmer. Or if you were to get a chief and, you know, modify, like take the torso of a chief figure and put it on him, even though I know it'd be the wrong torso, you would have the range of motion that's necessary. I mean, look at the difference in stance. Look at the way Chief can actually pull his arms in and hold the freaking rifle the right way. He can actually shoulder the damn rifle. That's what I want my Halo people to do, because that's all they fucking do. I don't understand why it's okay to give a pass to a figure of a character who does one type of thing and you don't even get that with the figure. This is a fail and a half. Of course it looks like the figure, so we give them, you know, most people will give them that for this. But I wanted to point this out because, you know, I've been noticing a lot of times as of recent, when I'm reviewing a figure and I tell you something's wrong with it or something, you shouldn't worry about something, people question it with this weird logic, like they just want to prove a point. Like when I brought up the SH Figuarts Hulk, it looks like the Hulk, it just doesn't look like Mark Ruffalo. But in a line where all the figures, when you see the actors' likenesses, they're generalized, why would you point that out? Even the Marvel Legends version did the same thing, yet I still have people bringing that up. It's a frustrating and stupid point. Pay attention. There's a likeness involved. They have to get rights to the likeness and permission to use that likeness, and a lot of times that costs more money, so they're like, fuck it, we'll make the figure and it will look like the Hulk, and we won't worry about Mark Ruffalo. It doesn't even look like Mark Ruffalo in the movie. It looks like fucking Eric Estrada. Like, I get what you're trying, what people think they're seeing, but let's be all the way real. You know, there are reasons for stuff like that. This, there's no reason for. They just took the model from the game, the 3D data from the game, the model data, fed that into a 3D printer, and didn't even bother to compensate for articulation in most places, and that's why you end up with this husk of a figure. So stay away from these guys. I like Halo, and I'm telling you, this is a shitty figure. I'm kind of afraid that the others are going to be just like that, and I think based on the reviews I've seen, they are. Fuck these figures. Don't even bother. Chief is good. The Scout is good. The Soldier is good. And the what was the other one? There's another Scout. It's an orange version of this. That's good too. I think the red one is pretty good too. There's a couple early ones that are good. The new ones that have more detail and shit on them, stay away from them, because the details were not taken into account when they were engineering these figures. So I am strident. That is my story, and I'm sticking to it. This is Master Chief, and he is the one to buy if you're gonna buy one. Fuck the freaking lame ass Locke figure. It hurts my heart, but I'll tell you what doesn't hurt my heart. I really will. The SH Figuarts Superman. And that's what's coming next. Stay tuned.